In the last part of the series, we talked about, are you coachable? And we primarily addressed you being coachable as the coach to bring that spirit to your coaching engagements. We talked about the client's coachability a little bit, but in this video, we're going to delve further into that topic because it's so important to ensure that you have a coachable client. And so let's look at ways to determine if that's the case. The first one is that your client is open to feedback. This is truly important, and they should be able to demonstrate experience in the past of receiving feedback and processing it and then considering it as an opportunity to change and do things differently or start seeing things differently. Another aspect of feedback is the willingness to get out of a comfort zone. Sometimes what happens with feedback is it makes us uncomfortable because we have to make changes that are going to take us out of our comfort zone. Is your client willing to be uncomfortable? Often as coaches, we ask our clients to do things that will make them uncomfortable. We encourage that, and we like to have conversations with our clients to discover new approaches to doing what they do, and those new approaches often take being uncomfortable to be effective, right? You have to try things, and you have to do things that are different, don't feel right, make you feel awkward until they become something more habitual and routine. And then we realize we used to be uncomfortable doing this, and now we're comfortable, and it's effective. So that's something else. What else determines coachability? Well, another thing is a willingness to adopt new perceptions, new beliefs. Where in your client's past have they had a perception that was no longer serving them, and they changed the way they saw things and realized that their life opened up new possibilities to have a greater positive impact on those around them and to benefit their organization as a leader? As coaches, we bring that idea that perhaps your belief system is not serving you. Perhaps you have perceptual blind spots that are getting in the way of being effective in certain situations. What are they? Let's determine what they are. Let's find new ways to behave and to see the workplace based on these changes that we've discovered. It's so important in coaching. The last thing that I want to touch on here is a bias for action. Is your coaching client willing to take action? Because it's one thing to be open to feedback. It's one thing to be open to new beliefs, new perceptions, getting out of your comfort zone. But what about actually doing it? Coaching is wonderful in that we are a thinking partner to our clients and we come up with new ideas, alternative solutions, etc. But what happens after the coaching session? Well, hopefully it's action. And when our client can demonstrate that they've acted on new ideas, new ways of thinking, and experienced positive change, now we know that we probably have a client who's highly coachable and could be a really good fit for us because we can probably navigate our way with them to a successful outcome. So let's say that we do have a coachable client and we're feeling very good about the engagement and about getting going with it. Well, there's still a few things that could get in the way. And these aren't so much around coachability as potential obstacles that could derail an otherwise effective coaching engagement. Obstacle number one is your client is just too busy. This will happen fairly often with executives and leaders because their days are jam-packed with agendas that are overflowing with meetings. Some executives are being double and triple booked for meetings and having to constantly prioritize their schedule. Some executives don't start really working until 5 o'clock when all the meetings are done and now they can get heads down and focus on what they would like to focus on. Will this leader be able to open up time, space, and energy for coaching? Because all of that is required for a successful coaching engagement. Are they willing? Are you seeing them cancel appointments? Are you seeing them not take action even though they said they would? Are you seeing them make excuses for why they've forgotten about commitments that they've made, or they want longer periods in between the coaching or shorter coaching sessions? Those are telltale signs that this client may just be too busy to fully engage in the coaching. And when that happens and you continue on with the coaching engagement, it generally means that you're going to miss getting optimal results. And when you miss that, sometimes what happens is it reflects poorly on you as the coach. It looks like you weren't effective. And so then you don't get repeat business. You don't get referred, and you feel bad. But there was an obstacle in the way, and neither side failed to recognize it and address it, and consider that maybe now's not the best time for coaching. Here's another obstacle that gets in the way, and that's a major life event that just turns your client's life upside down. These are all-consuming life events, such as diagnosis of a serious illness with your client or with a loved one that they'll need to attend to. They may need to take time off work. They may be going through a separation. Life events are not uncommon during a coaching engagement. They're a natural part of life. But then there are those higher magnitude events that take away so much attention from the client that they just cannot fully participate in the coaching anymore. When that happens, we need to recognize it and suggest that the coaching be paused and restarted at a later time when it would be a better fit. And speaking of fit, here's a third obstacle, and that is the client's just not right for you. You're not feeling it with this client. When you met with them, there just wasn't a sense of rapport or connection that you usually feel with the new coaching client. Either you or them are going to feel that, and you might feel it simultaneously. When they feel it, they'll typically say that they'd like to interview other coaches. When you feel it, you'll need to graciously suggest that you might not be the best coach for them and offer up a reason or two, and hopefully you can recommend another coach that might be a better fit for them. And then there are those cases when it's not another coach, but it might actually need to be another professional, such as a therapist or a counselor, or maybe they're just looking for mentoring. In situations like that, that could be an obstacle to effective coaching because they don't really need a coach. So when any of these obstacles come up, even when you have a coachable client, you should be willing to stop the coaching or not even have started it in the first place and realize that this isn't going to be a successful engagement for me, and I will then not get repeat business or referred business from this client. Wait until you have a client that is coachable and there are no big obstacles in the way, and you'll likely find greater success.